Hello. It's been a while. I saw this tag quite a few weeks back now. Wanted to do it, but just haven't had the oomph to do it. But today, I think, is going to be my last chance for a while because this is the last day we're going to have any sun for about a week. So I need the light, and also I'm actually probably too tired to really be doing this today. I didn't get enough sleep last night. But maybe that's good because maybe that'll just take the edge off my nervousness, and I'll just kind of go, yeah, it's this, it's that, it's the other. Boring, boring, boring. But I do like this tag, and the reason I like this tag is because it touches on things I've never actually talked about before, so it's quite good. And it's if you haven't read the title, Tarot Firsts, hashtag Tarot Firsts, and this was started by LarkandLegend. But I saw I wanted to say Aquarius. No, Aquamarine 18's. I told you I was tired. Response to it, and I thought it was quite good. I liked the prompts, so I thought, oh, I'll give that one a go. And it's also the kind of looking at myself occasionally because it's the first time I've done a hello video for a while because I'm not feeling that anymore. But I thought there's not enough here to just kind of like show you stuff constantly. So you get my face instead. Lucky you. Happy Easter. Right. Let's get into it. First encounter with tarot. My first encounter with tarot would have been in books because I used to go to the library quite a bit. I was one of those weird young teens and read all the metaphysical section. And I'm sure somewhere in there I saw something about tarot and was immediately intrigued because nobody in my life was doing anything with tarot. I mean, you got to bear in mind, this would have been about the early 70s. Yeah. And it just wasn't a thing in my world. So that was my first encounter. And then I just, borrowed books and studied up on it until I got my first tarot deck. And that would have been, I'm just going to grab it here, when I was about 15, 16. I'm going to say probably closer to 16. And a high school friend got me an old beat up copy of the Aquarian Tarot. Really beat up. Bearing in mind, this would have been about 76, 77. And this, even if this is a, hot off the press first edition, it was only going to be 6 or 7 years old. And I didn't do any of this. This is how it came to me. And people who have seen my channel before have all, seen this. It's really, I'll just kind of hold it up there. Come on, get my face out so it focuses. Come on. No, it's not gonna, doesn't want to focus, but it doesn't need to. I mean, you can see how grubby it is. And these lovely blue, oh, and look, there's a chunk out of that one. Why don't you want to focus, darling? There you go. That's it. You can see what the backs are like. They're all beat up and what have you. So anyway, God knows where she got it from. I never thought to ask her, being a stupid teen, probably from a dumpster from the state of it. So unkind. But, I was delighted to have it. I was really chuffed that, she knew of my interest and she went to the trouble of finding a tarot somewhere and giving it to me, bless her. So that was my first one. I don't think I'll say any more about that. First Kickstarter tarot deck. I had to go back and check my notes. I have a big spreadsheet of all the decks. Well, from the time I started, recording it, because I can remember I had a couple of decks, or at least one deck that isn't on the list. So, and that was an early one. And funny enough, that one comes up later on in the list. Well, my first Kickstarter tarot deck apparently was this one, the Darkana Tarot by Jaden Hale. He's got a Facebook page. I think it's called Inappropriate Tarot Readings. It's a hoot. I haven't seen any activity on it for a while. That might just be me. But yeah, this is a fun one. I keep it in this bag because a few years ago he produced some replacement extra cards. And I think I decided that I was going to keep them all together. I'm looking in the wrong place again. I even have a little piece of post-it note to there. Go, Judy, look here. But this is a fun one. All his own artwork. This is the Queen of Swords, because you might not be able to see that kind of thing. Where's a good one? Almost no color. I think there's a bit of color in the Death card, which I think is a nice touch. These are the backs. I really obviously was attracted to this one in a very sort of weird sort of way. Oh yeah, here's the death card. I think it's the only one with any color in it, which appeals to me. I like that. What do we got? Anything really cool here? Oh, I think this is one of the replacement hermits. I can't remember what the first hermit was like. He's probably in here somewhere. I don't know whether I'll be able to find it. Oh yeah, there's the first hermit. Oh yeah, a bit. Mind you, I'm not sure I'm all that thrilled with Abe Lincoln either, but there you go. So yeah, that was that. Quite enjoyed that. Right. Of course, that just led to more and more Kickstarter decks. Well, I say that. I think, if I remember correctly, I bought about 5 in the end, and one of them I never got. What was that? That was the, what was it called? Oh, well, never mind. But everything just went wrong for the creator, and it just never happened. Bye money, but yeah, it happens. First tarot tuber. Moving on. Hang on just a sec. I still always have this coffee problem. When I first started looking on YouTube for stuff, I was looking for playing card and Lenormand stuff. I wasn't actually into tarot at the time. And I think that also kind of comes up in a future question. So I think the first person I actually watched was Donnelly de la Rose for her Lenormand stuff. Scrambling through my memory, I'm pretty sure the first tarot person I came across would have been Kellyanne Maddox. I'm like 99.9% sure it was Kellyanne. So, yeah, that's that. That answers that. Shut up, Judy. First tarot course. I've never taken a tarot course. Thing is, like I said, I mean, I started reading up on tarot in the 70s. Tarot courses? You know, I'm sure in the big cities, you know, there might have been, you know, tarot courses available, but the likes of me wasn't going to be taking them. So I just studied books, got a deck, practiced, studied more books. When the internet became a thing, I started looking on the internet for information about tarot. And that was it. And by the time, you know, courses became available to me, I was a bit, I don't want to say past it. You know, you can always learn more. But I was like, just can't be arsed at this stage, I think is basically it. I think if something really, really interesting came up, then, you know, I might do it just, you know, for the sake of getting the knowledge, or taking a course with somebody I particularly respect as a reader. That might be good. But yeah, I haven't done it. And I've totally skipped 2 of the, that's weird, 2 of the prompts. We'll go back. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, skip to 7. I'm not going to do 5 and 6. 5. God knows. First tarot book. Ta-da! I bought this from the University Bookstore in Seattle. It would have been probably about the same time I got that deck. So, you know, 76, 77. It was $6.50. And I just poured through it. It's all, oh, now that's lovely. It's actually got one of the Morgan's tarot cards in it. I'd forgotten about that. I love this deck. It's not a tarot, but there's a whole story. See some of my other videos, but you know, as you can see, I went through it. It's got loads of different tarot decks in it. I suppose this would have been quite good because it would have alerted me to the fact before internet that other decks existed. Yeah, so that's quite nice. But yeah, that was my first book. Well loved, well used. The rest of the time, I just went to the library, photocopied all the stuff I was interested in, spent a fortune on the library photocopier. First tarot podcast. This is number 6 of the ones that I skipped. I don't listen to, well, actually, that's a lie. I used to listen to Dusty White's tarot podcasts. I started by watching his videos. He used to have these really good videos on YouTube, quite short, quite snappy, but very, very educational as far as, you know, how can I put this? Intuitive, natural card reading is what I like. That's why I love his book. The easiest, excuse me a moment. I'm just going to pause. Okay, we're back. The easiest way to learn tarot ever. I'm tired. I'm really, really tired. Let's put you over there. And a little while later, he started doing these podcasts. The only problem with the podcasts, Dusty White, I love you dearly with all my heart, but boy, can you ramble. Oh my God. And in like an hour-long podcast, you'd maybe get about 15 minutes of useful, really useful gems, but oh, yeah, it just got to be a bit too much. So I just stopped listening to those, and I really, I'm not a podcast person. I prefer videos. Sorry, I'm banging the table and shaking everything, which is why I live on YouTube. So that's that. Right. Now, we've done the courses one. The first major tarot teaching you relearned in a way that better suited you. Right. I learned at some point that you don't have to take the Golden Dawn approach to tarot, that you don't have to treat it like a tool of high magic, that you don't have to use Kabbalah, astrology, Hermeticism, any of this other stuff. It's a divination tool. You can use it as just a flat out divination tool. We're talking fortune telling practically here. And for the longest time, because all of my source material was basically based on Rider-Waite-Smith, Golden Dawn, blah, 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 I was being fed this all the time, that this is what tarot is. This is what tarot is about. This is how you're supposed to use it. And it just didn't work for me, to the point where I nearly not gave up on tarot, but just kind of lost interest in it to such a degree, because I just felt like I wasn't doing it right. And if I wasn't doing it right, I shouldn't be doing it, And so I started looking into playing cards and Lenormand, which is, of course, how I ended up finding Donnelly Rose. Donnelly de la Rose, excuse me. Did I say her name wrong before? I might well have. I'm tired. But yeah, and it was at that point when I was sort of reading, especially like with playing cards, where it's a freaking free-for-all, There is no standard set of meanings. There's good cartomantic practice, but, even that is like, what works for you, works for you. And once I started getting that mindset, I thought, you know what? There is absolutely no reason I can't do this with tarot. Just read the damn cards, as Camellia Lewis says. Yeah. So that was it. So yeah, so that was the major teaching I sort of relearned or unlearned, I think is probably the better way of putting it. Just read the cards. Go for it. First tarot deck rehomed. That was probably the first tarot deck I actually purchased online when that became a thing. Yeah, I'm that old, folks. And that was a William Blake tarot. And I bought it because William Blake, and I loved the artwork, but it was such a different beastie from what I was used to. And again, I was still at that stage in my tarot practice where it was like, oh, this isn't, what am I supposed to do with this? And I thought, no, I like the art, but I'm not going to read with it. And to be honest, probably even today, I wouldn't read with it. It's not my thing. I might. I could probably wing it with it these days, but anyway. So that was the first one I rehomed, and by rehomed I mean I sold it on eBay. Yeah, I have given some decks away, but yeah, I don't have the opportunity. There's a few people I can send decks abroad to, but I know nobody here who's interested. So I sell them. Good price. So make somebody happy. Right. The first tarot deck that touched you emotionally. Honestly, it's going to be my first tarot deck. This bugger. Because despite my shortcomings as a reader, at the time, still today, but I was a kid at that point. I was only just starting out. I hadn't a clue what I was doing or supposed to be doing, really. But yeah, I still got meaningful readings out of this, and some surprising readings sometimes, things that really made me sit up and take notice and take believe, really made me a believer. I mean, I'm of the inclination to be a believer anyway, but there was no getting away from the fact that it worked, and that was a really emotional feeling. It's why I read tarot, is for that spiritual, mystical, universal connection. Um, and I was getting that. So yeah, that deck was definitely touching me emotionally, which is why I kept going even with that grotty old deck. I did, about a year or so later, I bought myself a Rider-Waite-Smith just because I thought I ought to have it, and also because I figured it would make it a little bit easier, because the, not problem, but you know, this is like Rider-Waite-Smith but zoomed in really close, you know, so you lose a lot of the, I don't know. It's now I look at it and I'm like, yeah, what was your problem? But at the time, it just was a bit too overwhelming, just a bit too in my face, and I thought, oh no, I'll just get a Rider-Waite-Smith, be a good girl, and study it out. So, so that was that. Yeah. Um, last one, folks. Yay! I hear you all. First tarot-inspired artwork that you made. I'm not arty in that way. The first, and I'm taking a leaf out of Aquamarine 18's book here. The first tarot-inspired artwork I made was tarot bags. And the first one I made was this little crocheted number. Isn't it cute? And I made this for my beloved, and we were just talking about it previously, Morgan's Tarot. Yeah, this baby. This was actually the first deck I ever bought. I'm looking in the wrong place again. And I bought this before I bought the Rider-Waite-Smith because I had to have this guy. I just loved it. So yeah, and I wanted to make it a bag. And I deliberately made it out of dishcloth cotton because I felt that fitted the hippie vibe somehow. So yeah, but that's all I do. I make the occasional bag. I don't do art beyond that. That's basically it. I basically covered it. I hope that didn't take too long. We've been 6 minutes, 7 minutes. Wow, go me. I'm going to shut up and let you get on with the rest of your Easter. Have a lovely time. Don't know when I'll see you again, but don't know when you'll see me again. I'll be seeing you guys all the time because, like I said, I live on YouTube. Love you all. Be good. Have fun. Bye.